Welcome to twoquestions.tv. With me today is Jamie Rahn, and we're talking about mental health and exercise. Welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. With me today is Jamie Rahn, also known as Captain NBC. You may have seen him on American Ninja Warrior with his bright hair and cape. He's a parkour athlete and a coach who travels the United States training others. Hi, Jamie. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, okay, we just jump in around here, all right? So cut the small talk, we're jumping in, okay? Okay, so I've heard that you, like me, suffer from anxiety, and that exercise has helped you to manage your anxiety quite a bit, which is also true for me as well. So could you talk a little about that?
Yeah, so I'll get anxious if I can't really be productive in whatever projects I'm working on, especially when there's multiple projects going on. Or there's certain goals you have and there's multiples of them and you're always trying to put work into all of them, and that can get overwhelming. So a lot that I've learned is doing some activity, some sort of physical activity and training, especially the parkour training, has really helped me to just have little successes throughout the day and through training. So I may not really feel like going out and doing something, but I'll go out, I'll just start moving around, and then eventually, I'll find something that I enjoy within that movement, and then that'll really help me, feel successful and be productive in some aspect that I can then keep moving on and build on that. But the hardest part is always just starting and kind of getting out of that rut. So movement definitely helps me do that.
Yeah, I think you said something really important, that you do it even though sometimes you don't feel like doing it, and eventually it sort of comes along. It's that, like, try something just for 15 seconds. You can commit to 15 seconds. Usually you're going to go on the other side and keep going, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. So, all right, we're in this early part of the year where most people are thinking about, New Year's resolutions. Being more active is a big popular one. But it's also a time of year when people start something and then they kind of fall off the bandwagon pretty quickly, right? So how do you encourage, because you coach people and you work with a lot of people, how do you encourage people to stay more active and really to stick with it?
It's very kind of similar of just, getting out and starting something. I try and do run 5K every day, which, can be very daunting in the or at night. But sometimes just getting out and starting to walk to, chip down at it will then lead you into, okay, this isn't bad. I can keep going and, keep building like you said. But really the most important thing I've found is having fun and finding something enjoyable about it. So I've learned to just kind of be patient and enjoy, when I'm moving around doing those 5Ks, or when I'm out training, I don't have a set schedule of I'm going to do 18 pull-ups, then I'm going to do 20 squats, and then like sprints and all that, and I have that scheduled out in advance. On the day of, I know I want to work something legs, so I'll move around, I find something I enjoy, and I'll keep working that, and get better at that, and then I'll push that harder and harder. But if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to have that incentive to keep going. So I try and incorporate that into other people's training of, when you find something you enjoy, really keep working at it and build that bigger and bigger. And that's going to lead you on to other things. But if you're just doing something just to do it, a lot of times it becomes monotonous and you fall right off that bandwagon.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And when you think about the kinds of exercise that we tend to engage in, I mean, get a Stairmaster, you're going on stairs to nowhere. Terrible, right? Like, I can't imagine anything more boring or pointless. And so I like the idea of finding something you like and actually enjoy doing. You're much more likely to keep doing it. Yeah. Okay, so bonus round. Are you up for a bonus round? All right. So I read in your bio that one of the things that you like to do is help people face their fears. And there's no question that, American Ninja Warrior is something that a lot of people would probably fear. There are a lot of heights involved. Whenever I thought about maybe I should try, I'm 45, but I could really work out and do this. But the heights really get me. So let's say someone's watching right now and they have some kind of fear. Of course, many different kinds of fear out there. But what's the one thing that you tell people just to start helping people face their fears?
In regards to the show, the best thing to do is to go to local competitions and get your hand in what that is, because a lot of the fear, I think, comes from this overwhelming sense of this is my one shot. And when you're put yourself in that position of, okay, this is a, you know, a TV show, it's, you know, there's all the people here with me in the stands, but then it's also all the people at home that are watching, and they know I came out to this, and they know, you know, I want to do good, and I'm telling them I'm going to do good. And you start getting in your head about that, you really start to kill yourself before you really even get a chance to go. So what I've realized as I've gone through the years of competing, the more I pretend like it's just another day at the gym, the better I do. The more I have friends there that I'm able to kind of hang out with, and they're cheering me on from the side, the more I kind of communicate with them, the less intimidating a lot of that is. When it comes down to the obstacles, that's going to have to be done with training. A lot of it is, you know, heights. A lot of it is something new, which can be super intimidating. I'm not a fan of heights. I love getting better with heights. So I'm on high things quite often just so I can, you know, confront that fear and get over it. In Vegas, they had the double dipper last year, which was a big ramp that came down to a gap to another big ramp.
Yes.
You're like 2 stories up on a platform that goes down to the water, and there's like a bar that you're holding onto that swings all over the place. So looking down at it is super intimidating.
Don't look down.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to look where you're going, but you try and stay focused on, you know, what you have to do, and staying in the moment can help. So, you know, practicing on getting up into high places and being comfortable there, and also staying focused on what has to happen. So a good example I give people is find somewhere that you feel, you know, uncomfortable. I started with, you know, the stairway of buildings that circle up, and just look over the railing. You know, you've got your hands on it, and you're just kind of looking over, and you feel your heart rate, you know, start to build up, and just kind of sit there for a moment. You know, maybe it's a minute, maybe it's 5 minutes until you calm down and your heart rate relaxes. And then you can, you know, try going higher and higher into, you know, different situations where, first time I wanted to jump across 2 bars, 8 feet apart, but 8 feet up. I could do it on the ground all day, but getting up there, it was, there's more risk of falling because there's different bailouts. But just the fact of being up high, it's hard for you to focus sometimes. You kind of start thinking about other things. You're not focused on the task. So I would get there and I'd walk around the bars for about, you know, a half hour and just kind of get used to it before I would start jumping so that I'd be calm in that environment. And we don't always have like big logs or double dippers or things like that we can, you know, get used to, but we can train ourselves in the most variety that we can comprehend or that we can make up, and then put ourselves in scary situations and let ourselves, you know, calm down and react to it. So a big thing is just getting as much experience as you can in a safe way ahead of time. So that way, when it comes up, you know, okay, this is what I want to do, but you're also aware of what can happen, but you've already understood, you know, what you're going to do if that happens. Let's say you slip off. Okay, I'm falling. I know how to fall. If, you know, I get up here, I'm not going to freeze because I know what it's like to be up there. I can calm down by, you know, taking a couple breaths, closing my eyes, whatever it is, you know, that has worked for you.
It's so interesting. I think that's something that can apply to almost any fear is that whole, you know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, but don't put yourself like on the firing line right now. Start with just gradual, like make yourself a little uncomfortable, not super, like start slow.
Yeah. Like if you're afraid of, let's say spiders, don't go put your hand in a bag of spiders, you know, look at the picture. See if like you can deal with the picture, and then maybe it's a more freakish looking spider, and then eventually, you know, you next time you come across one, you don't run away from it, or you just kind of watch it, and then, you know, there's always progressions to overcome anything. It's just a matter of being creative and, you know, really thinking of it objectively instead of like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere near that, but, you know, trying to break it down.
Yeah, super helpful. And I also think it is, I had Michelle Warnke on the show this past fall, and I find it so helpful to have these conversations with you guys because it illuminates something that I think most people don't see. And it's one of the reasons I love interviewing Ninja Warriors, because we see you on TV and we see you doing these incredibly brave things, incredibly amazing challenges. And then, you know, almost invariably at some point along the way, most people fail.
Right.
No shame in it. It happens. You only get one shot. And so I found it interesting when I said to Michelle, you know, you guys fall, you know, you come off the obstacle course and you're like, yeah, you know, this is what I think I did wrong. And you seem so healthy with your failure. And she's like, oh, no. You missed most of that. Like there's this whole part in between when, you know, maybe we're crying, maybe we're upset, we're angry with ourselves, but now we're on TV. And so there's a facade of that. And so I also find it helpful to know that there's a whole part of your practice, your challenge, your work before you even get to the show that is managing and working on the fear piece as well. It's super eliminating for people who look at the Ninja Warriors as like, oh, you're so amazing, and you are, but you do a lot of work to get where you are. And it's not just a physical piece, it's also a strong mental piece as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a facade for a lot of it. It's a lot of us, you know, we're in that training mode of, okay, you know, like we said, it's just another day in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, you're training and you fall, like, what did I do? Okay, that's probably what I did. And then we go right back up and do it. And so, like, when we fall, our immediate thought is, what didn't I do? Or, you know, what happened there? And so when we get out of the water, camera guy's standing there and he's like, hey, what happened? And so they start that conversation.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get an interview, sometimes you don't. But you're always still in that moment for a while, that those emotions of, you know, okay, that's the end of the season, and all that really doesn't hit until later in the night when, you know, you've kind of been left to yourself and all those thoughts start coming in. So a lot of things people don't see, and we deal with it all the time in parkour, is people hear the word and they say jumping from buildings or roof to roof. And it's like, no, you know, it's crawling on the curb. It's, you know, jumping across the sidewalk, you know, things build up to that over time.
Yeah.
But people see the big exciting thing, and that's kind of what they, you know, get stuck to. And that's why the show of Ninja Warriors becomes so popular, because you only see like the big, you know, spectacular things. It's like every course is, you know, the best chase scene from a movie, where you get to see all the big moves and you get to see the big fails. But a lot of times people don't want to see all the monotonous, you know, training that goes into it. A lot of people ask, why isn't the show live? It's because it's 12 hours to film one, you know, qualifier. You know, people have trouble standing there, let alone, you know, sitting in front of TV that long. There's just a lot that goes in, and, you know, they chop it together and make it, you know, fantastic. But not only is it a lot of preparation, training, and mental, like you said, fear, but also, like, you're standing there for maybe 8 hours, and then you go compete. So it's a lot of, you know, being ready to go when you're ready, and, you know, what's that take to be in competition, but also be able to set yourself up, you know, plan out that day, the 12 hours of, you know, we film at night, so you have to get your sleep schedule set. You have to make sure there's food, and then you're, you know, well prepared, that you're warm, that you've got your clothes, they have a warm-up routine, so that you're ready to go, you know, when you're ready to go. And sometimes you're ready to go and they say, okay, we're going to lunch break. And then you've got another hour that you have to kind of finagle into that. So you have to be adaptable too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, you know, behind the scenes that people don't get to see, because, you know, it's not super exciting, but, you know, it's part of what makes us, you know, that level of athlete, is being prepared for all these things going in. So anytime someone's their first year in, you trying them, okay, make sure you bring hand warmers, make sure, you know, you sleep as late as you can, and, you know, all those things that kind of prepare them so it's not as daunting.
That's a lot. I mean, there's so much that goes into that most people who just watch the show and appreciate it have no idea. Yeah. So interesting. So interesting. I wish I'd had half of the mental training. I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Guinness World Record Special Edition, and I wish I'd had half that mental training, because when I got a question wrong, I was like, what? And when I walked off stage, I said to the producer, did I just lose $50,000? And that's all I could think. I lost $50,000. I lost $50,000. I wish I'd had the preparation for that. I never thought I would. I just never planned on that. So interesting stuff.
It's good to not think about the falling or the failing.
Yes.
But stay focused on what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie, it's been so great talking with you. Will we see you on the next season?
I don't know. We still have the airing of Ninja vs. Ninja, which is
Oh
the new
yeah.
Ninja one, and the skills competition, which I got to do both of those, and the All Star, which is Team Akbar, Team Eisman, and Team Christine.
Oh my gosh.
Compete. So I got to compete on those, which haven't aired. I don't know when they're airing. The next season starts in March, April filming. And so submission videos are in. We're just waiting callbacks to find out, who's going where.
Yeah, I've been seeing in my Instagram all of the warriors going, yes, we've submitted, we submitted. So looking forward to it. Well, we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you and on the new shows that are coming up and also on the new season. Thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks.
All right. Viewers, we'll have links to Jamie's videos and his website in the show notes for today. So be sure and keep an eye out for those. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.